Made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. So Eddie Hearn has now came out in a recent interview on IFL TV, basically exposing Team Ortiz and telling everybody what the real offers were. Now, news reports at the time were circulating that Ruiz Ortiz got offered up to $5 million by Eddie Hearn to go and face and be a last-minute opponent for Anthony Joshua after Jarrell the Mutant Miller decided to take PEDs up to his eyeballs. And it said that, news had came out that Team Ortiz was being lowballed. This then prompted Jay Jimenez, the manager of Ruiz Ortiz, to head to the Boxing Voice, shout out to the mighty Boxing Voice, and give a full-fledged interview basically saying he didn't know nothing about nothing, that they was down to accept the fight. And it was the promoter in Dade Promotions that were doing the willing and dealing behind closed doors and did not accept the fight, did not accept the terms. And he also stated that it was the promoter that put the news out there that they were being lowballed. Well, once again, when we thought it was $5 million, now it seems as if Eddie Hearn has attempted to expose Team Ortiz and do it triumphantly, as in the words of Eddie Hearn. He said he was going to do it and do it triumphantly. Well, the numbers are out. And according to Eddie Hearn, and he has proof on his phone through either texts or emails, that he was in contact with Jay Jimenez, and the offer that was sent originally was $6 million. And then he says he came back a day or so later and gave them another offer of $7 million. And he stopped right there, because that's when the news came out that they were being lowballed. And it caught Eddie Hearn off guard. Like, what? Really? He said he even sent the text to Jay Jimenez with a picture of the poster that they put out on Instagram saying that they were being lowballed with the words, really? So this Jay Jimenez, and I told people in the previous video, I find it funny how my man coming out giving his side of the details right after Eddie Hearn told everybody in the previous interview that he was going to expose Team Ortiz. I think this prompted Jay Jimenez to call up the Boxing Voice like, look, let me get my side out there now to let everybody know that my hands are clean in this, that I don't know nothing. Nobody ain't tell me nothing about nothing. It's all the promoter's fault. It's all the promoter's fault that they did not accept. Eddie Hearn said he preferred to do this behind closed doors, to keep it on the low. But they want to be the ones that come out with these news articles to the public talking about they've been lowballed. So this was what prompted him to expose them. So it's like, wow. So you mean to tell me it's worse than we thought? Because a lot of us were thinking it was $5 million. It was actually $7 million. I guess this is what was meant when it was being said that Team Ortiz's people can still get some good money and still leave Ruiz Ortiz with roughly almost $5 million, probably before taxes. But this is what it was meant. Not to mention Ruiz Ortiz's biggest payday was against Deontay Wilder, when the purse was reported at $500,000, but he probably got a little more. Let's say up to $1 million. This still would have been 6-7 times his biggest payday. Incredible, Slim. This is crazy. And they turn it down. His janky ass team turns it down. How can you turn a deal down like this? The crazy part is that Eddie Hearn even admitted that Jay Jimenez told him that Ruiz Ortiz wants this fight. So for everybody out there who wants to use the excuse, well, Team Ortiz or Ruiz Ortiz didn't have enough proper time to train and this, that, and the third, he wanted the fight. For anybody out there who want to say, well, you know, he shouldn't accept no fight unless he's making at least what Jarrell Miller is making, when it was being reported that Jarrell Miller was getting 6.5, Eddie Hearn is telling you he offered him 7. And maybe without the low ball article out in the public, who knows? Eddie May would have came back with another counter offer, like a lot of people thought was going to happen that was being reported, and maybe even went a little higher. Who knows? So they shot themselves in the foot, being janky as a janky team, Joe. How could you not allow Luis Ortiz, a fighter who wants to take the fight, to go after these 3 major belts, 4 belts in total, the biggest payday of his career? He wants this fight once again, and you don't give it to him. What kind of promoter are you? And the manager acting like he is so powerless in this situation. Oh, I wasn't in on the negotiations. That was all the promoter. I had nothing. I got the offer. Yeah, Eddie been sending me the offers, but I was giving them to the promoter, and they would have to work that out. According to Jay Jimenez, he was furious with the promoters, which I'm sure Luis Ortiz now sitting back like, what the hell, man? How did they do? How did y'all deny this? And now Luis Ortiz is stuck with the promise to face Deontay Wilder in the rematch. And I'm like Eddie Hearn. I hope if you do get this Deontay Wilder rematch, which to me, I don't think is promised. Too many moving parts, too many variables that can happen. But if you do get this fight, I hope you get paid just as much money as you was going to make in this AJ fight. I hope you get at least $7 million. That's crazy. Now, a lot of people, let's just be honest, a lot of people are going to bring up the name Al Heyman and say, well, because he, advises Luis Ortiz. They're going to bring the name up. They're going to say, well, this is another example of Al Heyman not allowing a fighter to go and a big name, one of his big name fighters to go and face someone else somewhere else. Well, clearly, Eddie Hearn didn't mention Al Heyman's name one time. He didn't say, you know, Al Heyman denied this or had anything to do with shutting this down. He didn't say that one time. He put all of this on Jay Jimenez, and he says he still has more, but he's choosing not to expose certain things. And the promoter, he didn't mention Al Heyman's name. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I mean, some people are going to believe that, yo, they didn't want to give Anthony Joshua the validation of saying he beat Luis Ortiz, a fighter in which Deontay Wilder already fought. They didn't want to give him the validation of saying, well, I beat him worse than Wilder did it if it's on short notice and things like that. They didn't want to give him that validation. So they held him back. Also want to keep another opponent for Deontay Wilder. There's going to be a lot of those type of words floated out there. I don't know. But all I do know is Luis Ortiz wanted this fight, felt as though he can win this fight, and also, by the words of Luis Ortiz, at least according to Jay Jimenez, felt as though this was the easier fight because he felt Anthony Joshua on short notice was not going to be prepared for a southpaw. So Luis Ortiz's teams failed him miserably. They passed up on the biggest payday of his career, the opportunity for all of these belts, and for the reason we don't honestly know. And now they are left blowing in the wind, hoping and praying and wishing that Wilder give them that rematch that they claim is so promised. Well, in the meantime, between time, it seems as if Andy Ruiz is going to be the guy. Andy Ruiz. Fast hands Andy Ruiz. I got a lot of love for Andy Ruiz. I love to watch him fight. I always say to this day, I thought he beat Joseph Parker. And he should have been the WBO heavyweight champion. I thought he beat Joseph Parker. He started the gas towards the end of that fight, but I thought he got enough rounds in the bank in which he pulled it off. But anyway, I honestly would have preferred to see Andy Ruiz versus Adam Kalnacki because Andy Ruiz was actually speaking up that fight prior to this situation. It would have been a good fight. But Andy Ruiz, who's also in association with Al Haymon, he's being sent across the street. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for Andy Ruiz. Opportunity of a lifetime. And I got nothing but respect for him wanting to take this opportunity. Don't know what he getting paid. Don't know. And he's coming fresh off a fight. So good for Andy Ruiz. It seems that Eddie Hearn's explanation for the reason that he chose Andy Ruiz was the fact that Andy Ruiz is a real formidable opponent. Does have good boxing ability. And on top of that, he attracts an Hispanic fan base. In which that's a fan base that DAZN is heavily invested in due to them having Canelo Alvarez. So it makes sense. As opposed to, say, Michael Hunter, in which he's a cruiserweight, and he believes since he's coming up to heavyweight, Michael Hunter will be on the back foot for most of the night, not giving the fans a good fight. Where Andy Ruiz is a come-forward type guy, likes to come into the action, tries to make his way to the inside on taller fighters, and lets his hands go. Doesn't have the fastest feet, but definitely has the fast hands. And he feels as though this will be a more fan-pleasing fight for everybody if he put him in there with AJ. Now, I don't see him beating AJ, especially on short notice, especially coming off a fight recently about not too long ago. What, month and a half ago, somewhere around there. Maybe not even that long. But I know he's fresh off a fight. We just saw him. And, you know, I just don't think the conditioning, I don't think he's ever faced a puncher like AJ. I think AJ will put him on the outside of the jab. He may even get some success on the inside in the early rounds. Eventually, AJ will start to hit him to the body. Big uppercuts. AJ's footwork is a bit better. Andy Ruiz will have to keep scooting forward, trying to make his way to the inside. But once he's within range, he can't let his hands go. But he's going to take a lot of punches trying to get to the inside. It's crazy. So, I don't know, man. I hope Andy Ruiz, like I said, respecting him for going after this. Hopefully, even if Andy Ruiz lose, and this is what we were saying about Luis Ortiz or anyone else, even in Jarrell the Mutant Miller's case, that even if you lose and you look good losing, it still can do a lot of good things for your career. You're going to have probably a lot of eyes on you in this particular situation. You know the UK fans are going to watch anything that AJ do. So either way, it works out in your favor. Andy Ruiz says he's not turning his opportunity down. So it is what it is, man. But it seems as if, once again, Team Ortiz has been exposed triumphantly. Eddie Hearn has the proof right there on his phone, willing to show anybody who want to see it. He was in contact with Jay Jimenez. Jay Jimenez was in the know what the offers were. For some reason, I guess he's claiming that the promoter could not close the deal. Jay Jimenez even mentioned that he was mad with the promoter because they wanted this opportunity. And I knew it. I knew he wanted to get ahead of this story for a reason. It makes Team Ortiz look bad. And I'm sure Ortiz is pissed. I would be too. Somebody may even should be getting fired over this situation. $7 million? Damn. So that's the deal, man. And Eddie Hearn's hands are now officially clean. He did all he can do. Anthony Joshua could technically fight anybody he wants. Jarrell the Mutant Miller, Juice to the Gills, Luis Ortiz, team, janky as hell. Don't know how to do proper business. Turned down the biggest payday of their fighter's career in one of the biggest, if not the biggest opportunity of his career. Janky, cuz. Janky. So he's left with Andy Ruiz. So it is what it is. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe to Twitter, Made Man 511, Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum, Instagram, Main Man Made Man. Their hands are clean. Their hands are clean. Team Luis Ortiz messed this up for everybody. Everybody. And word to King Kong, you should be looking to fire somebody over this, cuz they messed you up big time. To the next video. Peace out.